If you do anything for this upcoming Leo full moon on February 12th, let it be this. Unapologetically embracing your authentic self and allowing others to do the same. So this lunation will definitely be a cosmic spotlight asking us and leading us, honoring our needs and considering how we contribute meaningfully to the collective. And I say this because this full moon in Leo is all about where we are or maybe aren't allowing ourselves to shine authentically. And with the sun being in Aquarius, we're being called to balance thinking of others and honoring our personal needs and our more creative self-expression. Hello friends, it is your girl Alina, and on this channel, as always, we talk all things alignment. So aligning with the cosmos, the seasons, and most importantly, aligning with your intuition. And in this video, we'll be exploring themes of this Leo full moon, breaking down the top trends that's happening around the time of the full moon, and I'll be giving custom readings for each zodiac sign. And as always, we'll wrap up with reflecting with some custom full moon journal prompts so we can reflect and align together. And before we dive in, I want to remind you that if you'd like this entire video outline and future astrology forecasts for the full and new moon emailed directly to you, then you can sign up for my Align newsletter by using the link in the video description. It's the easiest way to stay in tune with the lunar cycles and never miss a forecast. And we're going to be on Substack, so I'm excited about that. All right, now this full moon will be peaking on February 12th, 2025, obviously, at 24 degrees of Leo, the sign ruled by the sun. Now, Leo energy is very bold, creative, and centered on authenticity and leadership. And full moons are always a time of culmination, release, and illumination. And so this full moon can definitely be indicating experiences that can ask of us to embrace who we truly are in a lot of ways, maybe even stepping into leadership positions. Now, full moons in general are seen as a culmination, this energetic peak in the lunar cycle, where the moon is reflecting its highest capacity of the sun's light, making it pretty beautiful times to be out and seeing the moon. It makes it for a very bright night. And just as we see this light peak in the sky, in the same way that the moon can raise the tide, so too can it raise our emotions and our intuitive abilities. And this is why with full moons, you can tend to see a lot of these themes as the days lead up to the full moon. And you can see it's almost like this, again, culmination or this building up of energy. And as many of you know, the moon rules over our emotions, our inner world, our thinking processes in a lot of ways. And so when it's at its energetic peak, it can tend to bring a lot of stuff to the surface. And this is why some of us can tend to see, I say this all the time, but I find it so interesting. I have had friends who have worked in the hospital setting. So nurses, doctors, EMTs, people who work in ambulances, even firefighters who have talked about noticing peaks in visits to the hospital and so many things around the time of full moons, interestingly enough. And so it's just kind of interesting how a lot of things can kind of manifest in a way that can even lead to that. But in general, full moons always happen when there is an opposition between the moon and the sun. And we see that the moon will be in this fire sign of Leo, and it will be in opposition with the sun, which is currently in Aquarius, as we are in Aquarius season. And as with all full moons, it generally brings in these themes of duality, of this almost like contention, because there's these themes that are at opposition right now. So we have these lunar Leo themes of looking at how we hold space for our authentic selves. Oftentimes we associate that with our inner child, our inner creativity. The sun, which rules over Leo, is all about leadership as well, and helping to guide and support others. And we see that there's this opposition with a lot of those themes with that of Aquarius, the sun in Aquarius, which is bringing in themes of the collective, collaboration, putting others before ourselves in some ways, and being innovative, not being too tied to any one idea or approach, but exploring the multitude of them, right? And so when we see that there's this opposition, it brings in a general theme of Leo full moons where we're being called to strike a balance with how we show up on a personal level, our relationship with ourselves, and how we show up in the world, how we communicate, express ourselves, advocate for ourselves or others, how we hold space for our inner child, our authentic selves. Like, what does that look like? And really, it's very simple, but shining bright. What does that look like? Think about the element of fire as well. My fire signs are going to be most notably impacted as well. And there's this theme of striking a balance between that and what are the collective needs. I versus we in some ways. And how do we strike a balance there of holding space for what's showing up in the world, in the collective, and then where we stand within that, and, you know, holding space for our authentic ideas and ourselves. So consider asking yourself, where are you leading with authenticity? And where are you supporting the greater good in any big or small way you can? This full moon will definitely be highlighting potential tensions between these themes, but ultimately it serves as this opportunity to integrate these types of lessons into our lives. All right, next let's dive into the top transits that will be shaping the lunation's themes and what it will mean for us. So first up, we'll see that the sun and moon will be squaring with Uranus in Taurus, which is interesting. So this is a type of transit that can tend to bring in an air of unpredictability, potential disruption, or even change. And it's pointing to potential experiences that can cause us as a collective to feel a bit, maybe even unsettled, or experience sudden shifts in our environments, likely within the realms of finance, cultural norms, and our communities. And I say this because Uranus really reminds us in general on its own that growth often requires breaking out of our comfort zones. So to work through any feelings coming up around this time that are tied to any sort of unexpected changes, really consider pausing to identify any potential source of your discomfort and ask whether being in action or having patience is the best approach. And again, this is a very interesting transit because we've already seen Uranus, the planet of unexpected changes, play a role already since the start of 2025, right? And so we're having these direct squares with the sun and the moon. And the thing too is that Uranus is in Taurus. Taurus is directly tied to things like finances, the economy. And so it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But again, the sun is in Aquarius. This is very collective stuff that we will be feeling. And it likely, I feel like, will evoke within us potential questions of, you know, where do I stand within these things that are happening around me? How can I help? Again, Leo is a very much a leadership position. I think that there can definitely be some events that happen that make us reflect in that way. Not just, wow, there's a lot happening, but also, where do I stand? How can I help? How can I potentially advocate? And finally, we'll see that retrograde Mars in Cancer will be trining with Saturn in Pisces. Now, usually this type of transit can indicate generally supportive experiences that can tend to inspire many of us to get a bit more disciplined and organized, obviously because Saturn is involved. That's the planet of discipline. But with Mars being retrograde and in its fall in Cancer, a sign that usually doesn't love being in action in some ways, this transit can be a bit difficult for some of us, especially if you felt within yourself or in others any sort of emotional buildup or resentment or frustration. On one hand, this transit could bring those things to the surface in big and bold ways. And on the other hand, this transit could feel pretty supportive in helping us to channel our emotions and our emotional energy into more disciplined action. So this can be perfect for tackling any big tasks or finally organizing something that you've been avoiding. Now, Mars in general provides that ambition, while Saturn can offer the structure to get things done efficiently and effectively. Like mentioned before, Mars being in Cancer and it having been retrograde, it definitely signals that some of us could notice a buildup in, you know, uncomfortable emotions potentially, or almost like unrealized action. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I should have said that, or oh, I really want to do that, but I can't in some way. And when it comes together with Saturn, it can offer a bit of clarity around how we can navigate that and actually transmute that energy in a productive way, whether that's finally articulating something, finally letting something out. But I feel like in general with this transit, it's going to be really helpful to have an outlet of any kind. Like what comes to mind is, you know, those like destruction places where you go and they give you a bat and you get to just destroy everything in the room. It's not the destruction room, but it's like a smash room, or I don't know, something like that. But finding an outlet will be very helpful and finding productive and non-harmful ways to express any potential anger that comes up. All right, I will now give custom readings for each zodiac sign. I personally suggest looking up your rising sign, as that determines your entitled natal chart and the houses from my perspective, from a traditional astrology perspective. But if you look at your your sun sign, that can more so indicate your career, how you're showing up in the world. And then the moon can indicate more so how you feel. So it's really up to you which sign you want to look at. There will be timestamps for each zodiac sign in the video description. Hello to my Leo friends. So this full moon is all about you. It is activating your first house of self-identity, appearance, and personal goals. So this definitely can indicate around the time of this full moon experiences leading up to it that can tie back to your self-image, to your relationship with things like your body, your health, and how you conduct yourself with the world. And with Uranus bringing in a bit of an element of surprise or unexpected changes, this could potentially manifest as news or change of plans or a correction happening in your life that could potentially spotlight your perception of the world, your perception of even yourself. So really consider taking time leading up to this full moon to reflect on how far you've come in stepping into your authentic self. And consider asking yourself, is there anything or any aspect of your self-image that is helping or potentially hindering in terms of feeling stressed or handling unexpected moments? Hello to my Virgo friends. So this full moon will be activating your 12th house of solitude, the subconscious, rest, and release. So this could definitely be bringing in experiences, especially leading up to the full moon, where potential hidden fears involving your inner world or a need for solitude and spiritual reflection kind of come to the forefront of your mind. And with Uranus steering things up, you might experience potentially unexpected insights and realizations that could encourage you to let go of what no longer serves you. And really consider taking this time as an opportunity to recalibrate and honor your inner peace. And you can reflect on how far you've come in trusting your intuition and your inner voice. And consider asking yourself, what beliefs or patterns are you holding on to that might be creating unnecessary stress or blocking your growth? If any at all, this might be a time where you're noticing how far you've come within that arena as well. Hello to my Libra friends. So this full moon will be activating your 11th house of friendships, community, collaboration, innovation, and inspiration. And leading up to this full moon, you might notice shifts in potentially social circles or your perspective of them, or clarity around long-term goals. And with Uranus bringing in potential surprises, this could look like new opportunities or unexpected challenges within your networks. It seems like it's within your community. So this can be a beautiful time to reflect on whether your communities actually align with your values and ambitions, or if they have, celebrating that right now. So consider asking yourself, how can you show up authentically in your friendships, your networks, and even in the face of unexpected changes? Where can you play a part? Hello and welcome to my Scorpio friends. So this full moon will be lighting up your 10th house of career, reputation, the public, and your more outer circle as opposed to the inner circle. So leading up to this full moon, you may find or notice themes of leadership or recognition coming to the forefront of your mind. And Uranus could bring potentially sudden changes or revelations related to your profession or sort of path or goals or public life. So this can be a great time to assess your authentic self and whether it shines through in your career and in those endeavors. And consider asking yourself, what potential adjustments can you make to ensure that your professional life reflects your true values and aspirations, even in the face of potentially unexpected shifts? Hello to my Sagittarius friends. So this full moon will be activating your 9th house of beliefs, religion, spirituality, higher learning, philosophy, and exploration. So you might find yourself reflecting on your worldviews, on maybe even educational pursuits or plans for travel or even expansion in some way. And I say this because all of those key phrases, all of those aspects of life that are being activated right now with this full moon are tied to expansion of the mind, expansion of the awareness in some way. So that could show up as leading up to the full moon, having interesting conversations that completely broaden your perspective, where you hear maybe perspectives and see things that maybe they could change your mind, but it could be something that actually broadens your views of things. And with Uranus playing a notable role, it might bring unexpected opportunities or shifts that could potentially challenge your current perspectives. So really consider using this time to embrace new ideas and let go of any sort of limiting beliefs. That'll be a pretty notable theme around this time. And consider asking yourself, how can you adapt your mindset to welcome growth and change, even when things maybe feel uncertain? Hello to my Capricorn friends. So this full moon will be lighting up and activating your 8th house of intimacy, transformation, and shared resources. So leading up to this full moon, you might experience deeper emotional or even financial revelations. And with Uranus in Taurus involving finances in the mix, you might experience some surprises related to joint finances, potentially debts, and emotional connections. So this can be a powerful time to reflect on the depth of your commitments and where you can release any outdated patterns or thinking or perspectives on these things of values. And consider asking yourself, how can you embrace change, whether it be emotional change or even financial change, and still hold true to your identity? Hello, and welcome to my Aquarius friends. So this full moon will be activating your 7th house of partnerships and close relationships. And you might notice leading up to this full moon themes around the concepts of balance and authenticity within your one-on-one connections. And with Uranus playing a role, it could bring potentially unexpected conversations or shifts in dynamics with others. So really reflect on how your partnerships support or potentially challenge your personal growth. And consider asking yourself, what patterns or behaviors in your relationship, if any, are ready for transformation to better support mutual authenticity and just co-create safe spaces for one another? Hello, and welcome to my Pisces friends. So this full moon will be lighting up your 6th house of daily routines, structure, health, and work. And leading up to this lunation, you might notice changes or shifts in your literal habits, wellness, workplace dynamics, or your perspective of those things. And Uranus might bring in unexpected shifts in your schedule or insights about your self-care practices. So really consider using this full moon to recalibrate any sort of habits that support your overall well-being. And consider asking yourself, how can you adapt your routines to better manage unexpected stress while staying aligned with your goals? Hello, and welcome into my Aries friends. So this full moon will be activating your 5th house of creativity, of self-expression, and joy. So you might find themes related to hobbies, creative projects, or even children or your inner child coming to the forefront of this time. And Uranus could spark potentially sudden bursts of inspiration or unexpected shifts in these areas. So consider reflecting on how you're embracing your authentic passions. And consider reflecting, what adjustments could you make to prioritize your joy and creativity, even in the face of potential shifts? You know, when things are kind of crazy, how can you find those moments? Hello to my Taurus friends. So this full moon will be lighting up your 4th house of the home, the family, and emotional foundations. So leading up to this lunation, you might notice or experience shifts or even revelations around your immediate living situation, your close friend groups, your family dynamics, and general senses of security. And Uranus could bring a potentially surprising change and insight in these areas of your life leading up to it. So really reflect on how you've been creating stable foundations for yourself. And consider asking yourself, what patterns or attachments in your home life are you maybe ready to release to support your emotional well-being or the well-being of others? Hello to my Gemini friends. So this full moon will be activating your 3rd house of communication, learning, and social connections. And you might notice potential themes related to how you express yourself and how you navigate your immediate environment. And a lot of this might be showing up leading up to the full moon. And Uranus might be bringing in sudden insights, news, or changes in your interactions. You might notice changes in conversation. So really reflect on the clarity and authenticity of your communication. And consider asking yourself, how can you adapt your thoughts and words to reflect your truth while also navigating the dynamics of the collective and of the community around you and staying true in your communication. Hello, hello, and welcome to my Cancer friends. So this full moon will be lighting up your second house of values, finances, and personal resources. And leading up to this lunation, you might experience potential sort of like clarity or shifts related to your financial situation or what you truly value. That's all second house themes. And Uranus might be bringing in potentially unexpected changes in income, priorities, or values in a pretty notable way around this time. So leading up to this full moon or around the date, really use this time to realign with what genuinely matters to you. And consider asking yourself, how can you adapt your relationship with money and resources to better reflect your authentic values, even if things feel a bit uncertain? What are your foundations? What keeps you grounded? All right, y'all, welcome to the journaling portion of the video. I don't know why I introduced it that way. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna read off some journal prompts. You're welcome to pause the video, write them out, and when you're done, we'll come back. Where in your life have you felt called to lead or advocate for yourself or others the most? Have you noticed any reoccurring patterns or themes there? What does it look like to balance honoring your personal needs while also contributing to your community? And finally, what, if anything, are you ready to release at the time of this new moon? This can be people, places, environments, dynamics, even limiting beliefs that you are clear, that it's become clear don't serve you in some way. I just want to remind you, because I don't think I said this at the beginning, but for anybody who doesn't already know, a lot of people do full moon rituals where they get clear on anything they want to release or let go of around this time, because it's believed that anything that you sort of set those intentions with at this time, and you know, it's a Leo full moon, there's the element of fire there, you can write these things out and destroy them in some way to sort of transmute that energy. And as the light wanes on the surface of the moon, all the way down to it being nearly invisible in the night sky at the new moon at the end of the lunar cycle, so too can the energetic ties between you and the things you're wishing to release also wane around this time. So it can be a very powerful moment to do that. All right, y'all, but with all of that said, let's go ahead and wrap up this video. If you made it to the end, I would love if you commented 3 lion emojis to represent this Leo full moon. And don't forget about the Aura newsletter. You can sign up in the description and it gives you a full outline of this video every full and new moon leading up to it. We're gonna be on Substack, so I'm really excited about that. Oh, last thing, I just remembered, I'm doing meditations again. I know that many of you here maybe don't do meditations or don't watch those things. I'm not sure how much crossover there is there of the people who view my meditations versus these forecast videos, but I make custom meditations for each full and new moon. So I just kind of look at the general energy that's being imbued with the full moon, and then I customize a meditation to kind of help us sort of navigate that energy, either build upon it or if, you know, things like that. And I just love it. It's a really nice creative outlet for myself that also serves y'all. And I'm really excited about it. I released one for the previous Aquarius new moon, and it's a sort of mountaintop meditation. And that's really great for clearing the mind and sort of like transmuting any sort of tension or buildup. So be sure to check that out if that interests you. But I'm excited to post those. So if you haven't already, if you hit the notification bell, the 2 main videos I plan to release for the next few months, so to speak, are just going to be a full and new moon forecast video and then an accessory meditation. So you'll get notified for both of them if you hit the notification bell. But with all of that said, I will leave you with my favorite quote, and that is, be gentle with yourself, because life is about the journey, not the destination. All right, I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Bye.